Hello again. So for this section, we will talk about knee stability and starting to build a little bit of strength and stability in all of these muscles around your knees and in quads too, and finding a little bit of balance on both sides and then also together. So we'll start in mountain again. That's kind of a home-based. Mountain, down dog, child's pose are often places that we return to kind of reset, because they're symmetrical, they can be restful. Some would argue that down dog is not so very restful, but it can be depending on what your practice is like. So we start again in mountain with feet hips distance, maybe toes turned a little bit out. And we come into chair pose. So when we come into chair, we sit hips down and back, just like you're going to sit in a chair. And what you want to watch for is that you're sitting back and that knees are kind of over ankles rather than on one of these with knees kind of jutting forward over your toes. You kind of want to have the weight back in the heels and knees more over the ankles. And then you can do what you want to with your arms. Here's going to be the most leverage on your low spine, so just be aware of that. You know, arms out to the side, down behind, hands on hips, wherever. But on your exhales, you'll start to sink down a little bit more. You'll draw your belly up and in to kind of stabilize the low back there. And you may already kind of feel this in your tibialis, in your quads, specifically right around your knees. And that you can stay in. It's kind of like a wall sit. You can stay in for however long you wish. From chair, we'll take the right foot back, just like we did in the crescent lunge in the other video. Step straight back, but this time, rather than being on the ball of the foot, you'll turn the heel down. So your foot's at maybe like a 45-degree angle to the back of the mat, maybe a little bit more. And then you'll bend your front knee as much or as little as you want. The idea here is to have the hip points still facing forward rather than kind of one of these, because did you see what my knee just did? We always kind of want to have joints on joints here, stacked. And then you'll notice in your warrior one, the common cue is to have it at 90 degrees, but check it out. That's 90 degrees. If that's what you want to do, more power to you. But what I find when that happens, my back foot starts to roll up. I'm on the inside of my foot here. So if I back off a little bit, I can plant the whole back foot and have a whole footprint on the mat. So I'm still working here in my quads, stabilizing my knee, but I'm not compromising my knee joint back here, and I have solid purchase on my back foot. So from your warrior one, you can step forward back into your chair, and then back with the other one. And then again, you can make that hips distance maybe even a little wider. Sometimes, I don't know, it just kind of depends. Sometimes I make it as wide as the mat so that I can really keep hips forward. And then I find that I maybe can go a little bit deeper and still keep the integrity of these joints back here, if I'm stepping wider left to right. So you can do a little series like that where you go chair 1, chair 1, and back and forth, or you can just hold them, or you can throw them into a longer series. And then we go to warrior 2. The feet are a little bit different. The hips actually face sideways this time. So we'll start in mountain and step the left foot back. And this time, the feet kind of do line up. Roughly, everybody's different, but just kind of the rough guideline is that your front heel is going to intersect your arch of your back foot. And then you'll come to 90 degrees here. It's easier to come, well, easier is a relative term, but it's easier to come to 90 here because your hips are not as involved, right? So, and you can do one of these and build some stability that way. You'll also find that you're starting to involve your inner thighs, finding some strength and flexibility there too. Kind of what you want to watch out for when you are stretching, and when you are stretching kind of big like that, is those attachments. You want the stretch to be in the belly of the muscle, not so much around the joints. So if you get any of those little zingy, like, oh, stop and reset and go less deep. So from your warrior 2, just one other little thing, again with the knee, watch this. Watch that doesn't happen. You want to use these outside muscles to pull that into alignment and draw your belly in to support that whole thing. So it's totally fair to have some stretch and strength happening here. And you want to engage both the inside and the outside so that you can keep this evenness in the knee joint. So we go from warrior 2, and here's where you might want to have a block. About a foot or 18 inches in front of your front foot. Take a big inhale breath. Exhale, hand comes to the block, back foot floats. So we line up everything. I don't know if you can see my back foot. Where is it? It's there. So you kind of want, I'll turn it sideways. The only tricky part is I can't look at you while I do this. Because when you change your eye gaze in a balance like this, all hell breaks loose. So we're reaching one hand up. Now let me move this so you can see my lifted foot. Yeah, so we flex this foot and act like we're putting it on the wall behind. That engages that whole hip, that whole leg, rather than just kind of letting it hang out there. We want to be using all of the body parts. So we'll do all of that on the other side. So we start in mountain, step back, bisect your back foot with your front heel. Sink down maybe to 90, maybe not. Watch that your knee is right over your ankle. And then this back foot for this one, it's turned into not just like warrior 1, it's more parallel with the back of your mat. And then you see what my hips are doing right here. See if you can bring your hips even. So we bring the hips even, we open that knee to where it's lined up over the ankle. And that's just a more stable, well-aligned structure. Because our tendencies are kind of to do, kind of do one of these. Well, yeah, you're in the posture, but it's not really helping you in any way. So we go from warrior two, and then again, and if you want to use your block this way, instead of placing it, you can actually hold it in your hand. Take a big inhale breath. Exhale, place your block maybe a foot, 18 inches in front. And then line up the arms. Whoop. See, I can't change my eye gaze. And really flex that back foot. Really engage the glutes on that top leg. That way, everything is at work and we have some awareness of what's happening behind us. We often don't have a lot of awareness. That's called half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. And then one more, then we'll put all of those together. So this is warrior three. And again, you can use arms in a bunch of different ways. But we'll start with arms up in mountain. Interlace your fingers, save your index fingers like a Charlie's Angels gun. Finger bend. And take your right foot and bring the right heel to the left big toe. So just shift your weight into your right foot and start to float your left. And we just slowly, slowly bring that down to where the goal is not necessarily to have a straight T, but it is to have a straight line. So this could be your warrior three. This balance could be your warrior three. It doesn't have to be all the way down flat. That doesn't matter. Although it does get a little hamstring involvement, which is kind of nice. So we'll go from warrior three. So do it on that same side. Warrior three. And find wherever you land. Press down through the ball of your foot. See how my foot is wiggling? Kind of anchor down through the ball of the foot behind the big toe. You can also have hands at heart center, arms out to the side, arms back, but still with that flex in the back leg. So we'll come from warrior three to tree. You can just kind of let your foot, you don't have to hoist it all the way up here. You can just kind of let the foot rest on your calf and then watch your hips here, that this isn't happening. You take this outer hip and pull it in so that we have this nice straight plumb line right from maybe like your right eye, right hip, all the way down to your foot, rather than hanging out there. And you can go back and forth between the two. And then we'll do the other side. So start in mountain, arms up, index fingers up, kind of steeple your fingers. That's probably a better analogy than a Charlie's Angels gun. And then bring your left heel to your right big toe. Big inhale breath. Shift forward onto the left foot. Really anchor through the ball of the left foot. And start to teeter-totter your way into warrior three. And then again, what we're looking for here is this straight line. Hopefully I'm in a straight line-ish, rather than having a ton of depth. So we're working on the stability of the knee, we're working on some balance, and if you do fold a good bit, we start to get some hamstring involvement too. And then come to tree. So you can come from your warrior three to tree. And then just kind of move your way back and forth between the two. So then to put them all together in a little series, we could start with feet hips distance. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, chair. Inhale, come up just a little bit. Step the right foot back, warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, chair. Come up just a little bit, warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, chair. Come up to mountain, inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Step your right foot back. Arms out to the side, eye gaze over your left hand. Inhale. Exhale, half moon. So prop here is super, super helpful. Back to warrior two. Up to mountain. And warrior two on the other side. Nice big inhale breath. Exhale, half moon. Back to warrior two. Then you can just switch to crescent. Scooch the feet a little bit forward. Warrior three. Tree. Warrior three. Mountain. Warrior three. Tree. Warrior three. Mountain. Thank you.